Recognize the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Arrington, to inquire.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Secretary. Prior to COVID, after tax reform and regulatory relief, we as a nation experienced unprecedented economic prosperity. All boats rose on the tide of that prosperity. We had the lowest unemployment in decades. We had the lowest poverty rate in the history. Jobs, we were hitting on all cylinders. COVID hits. But today, after 18 months of this administration, I believe that this administration has sown the wind of reckless economic policies, and the American people have reaped the whirlwind of economic pain. The spending spree that lit a fire on inflation that has consumed every American, every worker, consumed their wages, consumed their purchasing power, consumed their livelihoods. Irresponsible unemployment policies, welfare without work requirements, reasonable stuff that wouldn't trap and sideline labor so small businesses who were trying to get up on their feet after COVID could survive. But they couldn't hire anybody, Madam Secretary. Supply chain turmoil, farmers couldn't get tractor parts, the fuel costs, the fertilizer just completely running away from them. Repeated warnings from Democrat economists like Larry Summers and Jason Furman, the San Francisco Fed, even the nonpartisan CBO said, don't do it, don't do it. And the Democrat, my colleagues, and your administration supported a partisan spending spree, this spending bill, not a single Republican supported it, that has been disastrous. And it has put us in a tailspin. And I pray we recover from it. But you would have to relent in the administration from the current policies. At the center of all this, Madam Secretary, of this self-inflicted economic disaster is an energy crisis that is pummeling working families, pummeling every American consumer. And I've heard the blame game. I've heard the pandemic. It's Vladimir Putin. It's corporate greed. No, the runaway prices at the pump are just as self-inflicted, because I have never seen a whole-of-government assault on an industry like I've seen from this administration. With all due respect, it is unbelievable that an industry that has blessed our country with safe and affordable and clean supply of energy, the lifeblood of the greatest economy in the world, and does it better and more environmentally friendly than anybody in the world, and there is a relentless assault, and we wonder why the prices are completely out of control at the pump. And then you got this Treasury Green Book with $45 billion in punitive taxes on that industry. This after the litany of things, canceling pipelines, more regulations. When you tax and regulate something, you get less of something. You get less of something vis-a-vis demand, consumers are going to pay more. My question is, instead of going to Saudi Arabia, will this administration, will you and the president commit to coming to West Texas? Because this president hasn't set foot near any oil and gas facility, not production, not refining, not any operating facility in the United States, but he's going to Saudi Arabia to plead with a foreign country to produce more oil and gas to get us out of this mess. That's backwards. It's upside down, it's irrational, and I would like for you to please come see us in Texas so we can explain why we are where we are and help you get us out of this mess. I yield back.
Thank the gentleman. Let me recognize the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Schneider, to